The murder doesn't matter, Louvain said abruptly, leaning a little over his desk towards Monk. The two men were standing in the big office next to windows that faced the Pool of London, with its forests of masts swaying on the tide against the ragged autumn sky. There were clippers and schooners from every seafaring nation on earth, barges from up and down the river, local pleasure boats, as well as tugs, ferries and tenders. "I have to have the ivory." Louvain gritted the words between his teeth. "I've no time to wait for the police." Monk stared at him, trying to frame an answer. He needed this job, or he would not have come down to the Louvain Shipping Company offices, prepared to undertake a task so far outside his usual area of skill. He was a brilliant detective in the city. He had proved it time and time again, both in the police force and later as a private agent of inquiry. He knew the mansions of the wealthy and the back streets of the poor. He knew the petty thieves and informers, the dealers in stolen goods and the brothel keepers, the forgers and many of the general ruffians for hire. But the river, the longest street in London, with its shifting tides, its constant movement of ships, and men who spoke scores of different languages, was strange territory to him. The question beat in his mind, insistent as a pulse. Why had Clement Louvain sent for him, rather than someone familiar with the docks and the water? The river police themselves were older than Peel's city police. In fact, they had existed for nearly 3/4 of a century, since 1798. It was feasible that the river police were too busy to give Louvain's ivory the attention he wanted. But was that really his reason for calling in Monk? "The murder is part of the theft," Monk replied at last. "If we knew who killed Hodge, we'd know who took the ivory, and if we knew when, we might be a lot closer to finding it." Louvain's face tightened. He was a wind-burned, slender-hipped man in his early 40s, but hard-muscled like the sailors he hired to work his ships to the East African coast and back, with ivory, timber, spices and skins. His light brown hair was thick and sprang up from his forehead. His features were broad and blunt. "On the river at night, time makes no difference," he said curtly. "There are light horsemen, heavy horsemen, night plunderers, up and down, all the time. Nobody's going to inform on anyone else, least of all to the river police. That's why I need my own man, one with the skills I'm told you have." His eyes swept over Monk, seeing a man reputed to have the same ruthlessness as himself, an inch or two taller, darker, with high cheekbones and a lean, powerful face.